Morning, folks. We're here with Wes from Volatant. He's setting up his
Agris
T50 drone. This is one of the newer drones from DJI. It's got a, I think, 10.5 gallon payload if you're spraying liquid chemical. And then it's closer to 20 gallons if you're putting on a dry granular, say you're doing something like fertilizer. And he's out, they're gonna spray a couple pastures for us. We're gonna do this, it's about 40 acres right here. Then we're gonna head over there and there's another 10-acre patch that I'd like sprayed. Pretty excited to see this thing work. It's large and it's gonna cover about 50 acres an hour, about 51 acres an hour. This is perfect timing today, and I'll tell you why. We're going after perennials and biennials, stuff like Canadian thistle, which is a perennial, things like bowl thistle, which is a biennial. We're not looking for this stage in particular. We're looking for thistles in the rosette stage. And it's great timing today because we had a light frost this morning. It got down to about 37 degrees, and so that was just enough that it didn't kill any plants. It made those biennials and perennials know that they need to start pulling everything into the root, getting ready to winter. And so we're gonna hit them with some chemical, and they're gonna pull that chemical into the root and get a good kill on them. So what are you doing here, Wes?
So we are drawing this boundary that we're going to be flying with the T50 here. Once we get this boundary made and get it loaded onto the controller, at that point the drone's going to fly autonomously. But this DJI Smart Farm app makes it really simple to just come in and draw our boundary on where we want the drone to spray. Make the circle in here, or the square. It's going to complete our field.
Tells us about 38 acres.
Yep. And we could go a little bigger. You can still do some editing to move some stuff around and get a little closer to fence lines.
So if they have really irregular shaped fields, you can kind of contour it to how the field's shaped.
Correct, yeah. But no, this works really good for showing up to places that we've never been before. Obviously, you know, you're using satellite maps to draw the fields, but if you don't have the accessibility of, you know, getting shape files and all that stuff, this works really nice. You save it, and that's all there is to it. And now we can go in and pull that in on our controller. We'll load that, set all of our parameters on what we want the drone to do, and send it. So this is how it's going to look on our controller. So that field that we just drew on our cell phone is now on the controller. So it's as simple as selecting the field. If you need to edit any of the edges, you have the ability to, but we're just going to go into use. We're going to be spraying our pasture at 2 gallons to the acre today. We also have the capability of adjusting our droplet size right on the screen. We have a really nice, cool morning. Not a whole lot of breeze this morning, so we're probably going to be running our droplet size a little bit lower for better coverage. We're going to tell it how high above the crop we'd like to go. I like spraying around 10 to 12 foot, and then we can also change which direction we want the drone to fly. So we're set up down here, so I'm probably going to change the direction of the drone to fly north and south.
That way you can probably, once it's close to us, tell it to come back so you don't waste flight time. Or
Yep. A little more efficient going that way. So now we can adjust that however we want. Everything looks good to go here, so it's as simple as hitting start. This is where we'll set all of our settings on if something were to happen as far as the drone losing signal, what type of scenario we're in, whether we're in really hilled ground, flat land. We also have the ability, if we're doing anything around water, to go above water. It's pretty flat out here, pasture, speed, return to home height. So right now all we got to do is just swipe it and let the drone go to work.
So now it's gonna land, it's coming in here, and we're just gonna refill it, slap a new battery in, and send it back off just like that. That's incredible. That is just fun to watch. We got a Canadian thistle right here. That's a perennial. Perfect timing to spray it. You know, it's not yet putting on seed. It probably germinated not too long ago, but it's gonna suck that chemical down to its root, kill it, and it won't be coming back. So we're going after stuff like this, Canadian thistles. Musk thistle is another weed I spend a lot of time spraying, spot spraying with the four-wheeler, and it takes a lot of time. I drive to each pasture about 8 to 10 times a year just to spot spray and redo things that I missed. But with broadcast spraying, we're gonna clean up a lot of things that I wouldn't have seen, wouldn't have had time to get to. So we just got to mix up about one more load here, and then we're going to be heading across the section. We got a 10-acre building site that's got quite a bit of weeds that we're going to want to hit. So we got that one done. We didn't spray this half because this one's actually pretty clean, but that's all sprayed. And now we're gonna drive to our other pasture. It's one of those places we put young calves with their moms in the early spring when things are muddy and the grass isn't grown up yet. So those cows eat it down and it gives the weeds a pretty good opportunity to take over. Right at the next spot, it's just a little 10-acre thing. We got some trees to contend with, some highline wires. This is a perfect example of what we're going for. Look at this. Big musk thistle in the rosette stage. It's got 2 stages. The first year it just puts on vegetative growth, and then next year it'll actually put a shoot and go to seed. But when we spray it right now this fall, it's gonna kill it, won't be able to go to seed next year. There's a whole hill of them right here, look at that. So checking out his spray rig, his drone fits just right in the back there. He's got a big bulk tank for water, induction tank for mixing the chemicals, 2 generators. I really like the reel system he's got, so I mean that's probably like 50 foot of hose so it can get to the drone to refill it, and I think that's a clean water spigot. And then in this toolbox here he's got all of his batteries where Wes can, you know, recharge them. A little extra storage in there.
Add an obstacle into it.
I see.
Have a tree there, and probably section this one off. This one will be kind of autonomous on this north side here, and then we'll take the drone and put it into M+ mode, and we'll use it and kind of do some manual flying in and around these trees.
Okay. Have some back and forth passes to do right here, and then that'll be a wrap for the drone spraying today. You not only spray for people that, you know, need spraying done, or I'm sure you can spread dry with this as well.
Yeah, primarily we use the spreading tank for doing cover crops. There's a lot of really neat programs out there that help out with some cover crop seed, and so we're going out right about the time the corn's getting ready to turn and spreading that seed out in the corn. We're also going into beans, so once you harvest your crop you have a nice standing crop to either graze or just soil nutrition or soil health. We sell these drones, we service them, got a full line of parts, but we also do the aspect of going out and spraying with them. And you know, we're a firm believer that if we're going to sell it and service it, we need to be out using it and learning about the drone, and so we understand it, and then we can pass along that type of information to other end users and so on and so forth. These props, obviously you can see they're white. They've updated these props and put a little denser polymer in there, so the props don't have quite as much flex in them. So obviously the drone has a lot more stability in the air, handles really well. Since we're at the back of it here, you can see that there's been a radar added to the back here, and that is a downward radar, but it also helps a lot with terrain following. So these things are very accurate and do a very, very nice job with following terrain. If you have rolling hills, terraces, different whatever, canyons, pastures, or out in your pastures. Next big thing's kind of up here on the front. You know, this is the 360 radar. It's sensing up and all the way around it. One thing that's also improved the terrain following ability and obstacle bypassing is they've changed the angle of these little eyeballs here, which are binocular vision, and so those are looking out in front, so it can decipher if there is an obstacle, what path it wants to take to go around it autonomously, or they can also see the change in terrain. They did add some downward binocular vision to this as well, and so like you've already heard me say, terrain follows very, very well.
We really appreciate you coming out and spraying some of these. Just had so much rain early in the season that the weeds really popped up, and then in the late season it got dry, so the weeds took advantage of that, and they can really outperform or outcompete the native grasses and the grasses we have planted here. So it was getting overwhelming spot spraying on my four-wheeler.
Absolutely.
And this is going to help with that broadcast application, taking care of a lot of those perennials and biennials.
Yep.
So we thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having me up, and it's a great, beautiful day up here in South Dakota.
Yeah, and so if anyone is interested in using your service or even buying a drone from you, they just go to probably volatant.com or
volatantdrones.com. Yep.
Okay.
And we have our full line of parts and all of our models of drones on there, and you just give us a call and we'll help you out.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I think drones are pretty cool. They kind of what got me into YouTube in the first place. Pretty amazing, you know, each new generation of drones from DJI just gets bigger and more features, allowing you to do more precise things. You can even variable rate different products, and of course, since it's flying, you don't have to worry about putting tracks through your field, especially after a rain. Footage a few days later after spraying. You can see the leaves are curling. They're dying. There's that big patch of them. Look at this guy. He's curling pretty good. I think we're gonna get a good kill on these. Look at this. So all of these in the rosette stage, they would have come back next year and started putting seeds on. But I think we got them killed.
Something made a noise anyway. That's not it. You're kind of downwind there. I'll let you go first. Okay. Well, something sure clunked and it was along that tree line over there.
Just cleaned out the rock trap on the combine. We're working in my last field of beans here. Finish up the day. This field is probably or definitely gonna be an insurance claim. You can see I'm driving in a big wet spot, and there's a few of them that are just kind of connected. So not only is all this zero, but the beans that did survive, they aren't yielding too well. For the last 3 years between the drought and then the flood, it's been well worth it to have crop insurance. Look at this one. Holy smokes, that's about 6-7 acres in just one spot. The first couple fields though that we harvested of the acres that I'm renting this year ran very well. They were some of the best we've harvested this year. So, and I bet you this would have been a fantastic field if we didn't get 8 inches in 1 week. That's just how it goes. There was flowing water through here at one point. Now it's pretty much all the way dry. All I have left for my harvest is this 33 acre plus or minus soybean field. As long as nothing too crazy happens, we'll get it finished up today. That's enough to fill Uncle Jeff for the last time. The rest of this will fit easily on the last truckload. Well, we got her done, and look at this. So it says area worked 83.75 acres. We planted 100.7 acres, so about 17 we didn't even run the header through because it was drowned out and there was nothing there. Easy math, about 17% was drowned out. So I'm pretty full. I got the cab beans. We'll survive another year. By golly, we're gonna punch another crop in next year, I tell you. Hope you enjoyed the drone spraying. I think that stuff's cool. I think it definitely has a place in agriculture, especially when you get around places that you just can't fit ground rigs in, it's too muddy or whatever. Anyway, the end of this video wraps up my soybean harvest. Dad's got a little bit left, and then we'll start in on corn. Thanks for watching today. Hope you enjoyed it. Love to see you next time. Have a good one. Oh, so close. I'd usually joke, there goes the profit. But there was none.